In the spring, as soon as the pike recovers its strength after spawning, it immediately begins to feed actively. At this time of the year, it is especially fun to fish them because you can hit a very good activity and catch a lot of pike. But I would like to single out 6 mistakes due to which you can remain without a catch even at this time. Mistake number 1. Fishing in deep waters. As you know, the pike starts feeding only after recovering its strength after spawning, and it spawns according to the water temperature. Spawning usually starts when the water temperature reaches 6 to 9 degrees Celsius. Pike spawn in the shallows, laying their eggs on last year's underwater or waterlogged vegetation. Therefore, in shallower waters, which warm up faster, pike spawn earlier and start feeding earlier. Of course, everything depends on the weather temperature that year. If the water is warm enough, it will be great for fishing in deeper lakes, rivers, canals as well. Mistake number 2. Fishing only in calm weather, especially when fishing in shallow waters. This mistake is related to the first. If you chose a shallow water, it means that the pike will be shallow and can see and hear you better. So when the weather is calm and there is no wave, pike will be more careful in those places. Of course, many fishermen find it more satisfying to go fishing when the weather is good, the wind is light, and the sun is shining. It is also more pleasant and easier to fish at the same time. It is easier to accurately cast or anchor. When there is no wind, you don't even need to anchor. But unfortunately, better pike activity is usually when the weather is not so pleasant for fishermen. The third reason you will get fewer baits is because you stay in the same place too long. In the spring, the pike can already be active, so it is not a particularly good choice to stay in one place for a long time. Usually, when the fish are active, they strike quickly and chase the bait from a distance. Of course, as with all the points I mention here, there are exceptions. If the water is not yet very warm, the pike may not be so active and will not necessarily attack the bait immediately. Probably the best option is not to stay in one place for a long time in the beginning. Check more different places, and if you still did not catch anything, this means that the pike may be inactive. Then you can check a promising place for a longer time and try to slow down the retrieve of the bait. This brings us to mistake number 4, wrong bait retrieve speed. As you probably already understood, it cannot be said that it is wrong to retrieve too slowly or it is wrong to retrieve too fast. In fishing, there are always many different factors that determine what a pike needs at that time, but I would say the main condition is this. If the weather has not yet warmed up enough, then it is better to choose a slow retrieve because the pike will probably still be passive and will not be in the mood to chase a fast bait. In this case, if you slowly pass the bait along the nose of the pike, you will have a chance. But if the water has warmed up, it's better to choose an active and aggressive crankbaits than a passive soft bait, and make the retrieve fast enough so you will cast more, and therefore you will have more chances to catch fish. Mistake number 5. Fishing in the spring only early in the morning. In the spring, the mornings are usually still quite cool, and it only gets warmer as the day goes on. And as we have already discussed many times, the warmer it is in the spring, the more active the pike is. So if you only fish in the mornings, you may get fewer bites or no bites at all. In the spring, you can get quite a lot of activity during lunch and in the evening. Also, pay attention to which shores are more exposed to the sun. The water surface will also be slightly warmer there. But if the pike is already active, morning is a good time to fish for pike. Well, the 6th mistake would be wrong choice of bait. There is a lot to discuss here and we still won't find an exact answer. Different fishermen will have their own opinion on the question of which bait is the best in spring. But I don't want to name a specific type of bait. The point is that you should try several different lures if you don't get bites. Sometimes fishermen rely on crankbaits and fish all day with only crankbaits, although they do not catch any fish, and only after changing to a soft lure catches fish, or only fish with big baits without trying a smaller one if it doesn't catch fish. Many experienced anglers already know what bait works best for them in the spring, and it happens that one bait works better in one condition and another in other conditions. But if you are a beginner fisherman, experiment more, it might work. As you can see, these mistakes that I highlighted are not completely defined. As I already mentioned, in fishing, everything changes quickly, and the behavior of the pike can change quickly due to various weather conditions or other circumstances. But that's what makes fishing interesting. Even experienced fishermen don't always catch fish, and don't always understand why pike is not following bait. Of course, with experience, there are more chances, but the most important thing is not the number of fish caught, but the wonderful nature of spring, which usually makes you smile and enjoy being on the water. Take care. See you next time.